Hello and welcome to Program 50 in this series of programs and tutorials that focus on TradeStation Easy Language. If you're not part of our email list, then please go to markplex.com and I will let you know when I release new programs or tutorials. So the program that we're going to be looking at in this video is Program 50, and actually on the chart at the moment I've got Program 50 and Program 49 applied. Now Program 49 I titled a point and figure emulator, and what it tried to do is draw boxes just like a point and figure chart does, but on a regular chart. And because there is a time element to a regular chart, whereas there is not for a point and figure chart, we had to stretch these boxes and stretch the crosses across a number of different bars. Now if we turn Program 49 off, you'll see that Program 50, amongst other things, instead of drawing those boxes, what it does, it puts show me dots at the start of a new column. So this is the downward red box column, as it were, and then it does one at the start of another column, which this would be the rising crosses. Now these points are user definable in terms of their color, as are the controls for the program in terms of the box size and how many boxes are required to do a reversal. The program also will show a few chart formations. The first one we're going to look at is support, and that occurs where a number of columns all have their lower end at a certain level, and it's probably easier to explain that if we look at an actual point and figure chart. And you can see here that we've got several columns all touching this one straight line. Now obviously with Program 50 it's not going to look quite the same as this because we have the time element on the chart, but let me show you what it does look like. So let's find an example. Okay, so this is a 1 minute euro dollar chart, and you'll see here we've got some cyan dots, and these are because if we were to add the point and figure boxes, say using Program 49, we would see several columns all hitting this particular level. You can also see another pattern on this chart as well, and that is when we get a situation where we get a number of bars creating a resistance level, which on a point and figure chart is drawn at a 45-degree angle. Because of the time element of this chart, it's not quite a 45-degree angle, but probably again the best way of demonstrating it is to look at a point and figure and find a specific example. And you'll see that I have drawn a line on the chart here, and if we just go back far enough we'll see the bars where this formation occurs, and you'll see it here where we've got the line joining, going down 45 degrees as the line joins several bars together that in each case go down by one block size, and that is the equivalent to what we have here on the euro dollar with these dark maroon dots. Now we do have some user controls that I'll just mention before we look at other situations, but the first one to bear in mind is PF box size, exactly the same as in Program 49. That is the sizing for the box, and that is the same as you would get on a regular TradeStation point and figure chart. I've also got this reversal. That's the number of boxes that we need to have turned around before we reverse. We've got several color options. Now up color, down color, they're the equivalent of those dots that appear when a new column starts. The rev up color, this is the color of the formation where a number of boxes or crosses each have a low on a specific line. The equivalent to that is the rev down color, and that is where the tops of those columns ends at a particular line, and you can change the color for that. Then the final two here, these are stand for resistance color, res color. This is where you get the line sloping downwards. That may be a resistance line, and similar, the sub color, support color, this is where we have a line sloping upwards, and we'll see if we can find an example of one of those in a moment. Again, like Program 49 and like the actual point and figure chart itself, you can decide whether you're using the high-low method. In other words, you use the high or lower bars, or the close method. So if this is set to false, the program uses the close method. And then in terms of the last four inputs, these control those patterns. So for example, num LOS, num lows in other words, requires you to have 3 columns all hitting a particular line before that formation is drawn, and you can alter that number. Num highs is similar. You'd have to have 3 highs of columns all hitting a particular level. And then number of resistance and number of support. This is a number of situations where we'd need to get that 45-degree angle. In other words, in each case, the box or the cross goes up by 1 to form what would be a 45-degree angle on a point figure chart. But again, because this is a regular chart, we don't get that 45-degree angle. Okay, so let's see if we can find examples of other patterns. Okay, so I've got an IBM chart here, and you can see an example of this upwards support line being drawn. So this would be a situation where the bars would hit this level, then they would go up by a certain amount, and so on, so that you would get this particular formation, similar to the resistance, but this time sloping upwards as a support. And then finally, I just want to see if we can find an example of the situation where we have a number of columns all with their high at a certain level. Okay, so back euro dollar 1 minute chart, you can see a row of magenta lines here, and that is because we've got the highs of some columns all hitting a particular level, and that would potentially represent a resistance level. You can also see a nice example here of potential support level just occurring to the left of the chart. Okay, so that is program 50. I hope you might find it useful, and if you are interested in downloading it, then it is available. Incidentally, I do use within this program some of the vector technology that's available within TradeStation 9.1 in order to save the positions of the places in the program where we get a reversal. So again, hope you find this useful. Thank you.